An unstable, blood-crazed Roman dictator is a pretty good lyrical subject for a music genre as brutal as metal tends to be. So naturally, for today's topic, I had the choice from quite a large number of different bands. Among them, Teutonic thrash legends Sodom, or Cataclysm's history-loaded side project Ex Deo. However, since this series is not supposed to just deliver awesome historical facts, but also provide you with a new and cool band every once in a while, I chose to examine Caligula on the basis of a band that has yet to climb a few steps on the ladder of fame and popularity. And honestly, I think Circus of Fools may have it in themselves to do that. Mainly focusing on social problems, their music, which I would probably describe as gothic metal, is interesting to listen to for sure. And their gloomy yet energetic live-clowning live performances take it on another level entirely. They qualified for a feature here in the series with their 2018 album Rex, the track Caligula to be more exact. Now, after this quick introduction, let's see who this Caligula guy was. First off, Caligula isn't really his actual name. The guy was born on the 31st of August of the year 12 as Gaius Julius Caesar, not to be confused with Julius Caesar, who lived a good 100 years prior to Caligula, and played a major role in reorganizing the Roman Republic into the First Galactic Empire, or something along those lines. As for our Gaius Julius, his father, Nero Claudius Germanicus, was a military officer back in his day. And since ancient Roman daycare infrastructure was worse than the plot of the new Star Wars trilogy, Gaius Julius already spent some of his youth marching through Germany and Syria with his dad's troops. The soldiers were happy to have the little boy with them, and even made him his own small pair of standard-issue Roman marching sandals, or caliga, as they were called in Latin. Apparently, this gesture stuck to him until even after his death, when his nickname, Caligula, meaning small sandal, emerged. When Caligula was 7 years old, his father died, presumably poisoned in a struggle over political power. The boy returned to Rome with his mother, where his granduncle, Tiberius Julius Caesar Augustus, ruled the Roman Empire as, well, its emperor. But the capital oozed with treason and machinations. Sejanus, prefect of Rome, wanted to become emperor himself, and fiendishly arranged for all male heirs of the current emperor Tiberius to die in one way or another. All but one. After the death of his two older brothers, Caligula was the sole male descendant of the Julio-Claudian dynasty, other than his granduncle, who was already 72 years old. In the year 31, Sejanus was executed and Caligula visited his granduncle on the island Capri, where they became buddies. And so, on the 16th of March of the year 37, when Tiberius died, it was clear that Caligula would be the new emperor. So, with only 25 years of age, the Senate appointed him ruler of the greatest empire of its time. In the first 2 years of his reign, he was a pretty popular ruler, supporting the interests of the Roman people with bloody gladiator battles and occasional murders of foreign kings to claim their territories afterwards. You know, the usual. Yes, it's a bit weird that the Romans enjoyed all this violence, but keep in mind, they didn't have Game of Thrones back then, so they had to improvise. So all in all, life seemed good for a while, but now we get to where the song kicks in. It says there that order left the city of Rome, and that would soon be the case. It's not clear if it was out of grief over the death of his favorite sister Drusilla, paranoia because of all the conspiracies in his youth, or simple political consideration, that in 39 Anno Domini, Caligula shifted into an autocratic style of rulership. He wanted to rule alone, as long as possible. At first, he tried to secure and cultivate his power by a drastic raise of taxes, especially on prostitution, which made a lot of people very unhappy, ignoring or forgoing senator candidates he deemed troublesome, and mortifying the Senate as a political organ on numerous occasions.
I am the Senate.
Then, he started randomly torturing and murdering single senators, allegedly guilty of high treason, in an attempt to intimidate the others. The randomness as to who was a traitor and who wasn't is excessively covered in the first line of the lyrics, and even though I could not find a specific instance of Caligula charging someone because he thought them ugly, there is records of senators being executed after they criticized the emperor's clothing. At least 36 people lost their lives this way. And even though that's probably not enough blood to paint a medium-sized Roman shopping mall, it's still quite a lot, especially considering that these people weren't just anyone. As senators, they were official members of the government, influential citizens with a sort of diplomatic immunity. Now, I'm not saying their lives are worth more than that of anyone else, just because they were politicians or anything. But it's a difference if an emperor kills 36 random farmers or 36 members of the parliament, even though both are horrible enough. The phrase, "let them hate me, as long as they fear me," from the lyrics is often accredited to Caligula, but it's not sure if he actually ushered those words. However, they can definitely be seen as a representation of his view of his subjects. It turned out not to be that smart of an ideal in the end. The broad public, but especially the Senate, was understandably unhappy with the overall situation and decided to take action. Since Caligula was the emperor and could basically do what he wanted, stretching and bending the constitution according to his ideas, there was no way to peacefully remove him from office. Also, people were fed up with all the violence they had experienced. And like the song says, action creates reaction. I'm telling you, man, you shouldn't have let them watch all those gladiators murdering each other all the time. What followed now was not really an open rebellion against Caligula, but rather one of the conspiracies he feared so much and saw everywhere, coming to life. A group of senators, influential members of noble families, and Cassius Chaerea, tribune of the Praetorian Guard, the personal bodyguards of the emperor, forged a plan. Some Praetorian Guardists, whose officers also had their own interests in politics, would ambush Caligula beneath a theater and downright slaughter their prodigy in January 41. Serves you right for not watching my videos. Oh, and killing all those people, of course. But just think how easily it all could have been prevented had Caligula known of the concept of foreign elite guards, like, let's say, the Varangian Guard. For the next quote in the song, I can't really imagine that Caligula actually claimed that he loved any one of the Romans. After all, he was pretty open with his hatred, saying things like, "I wish all of Rome had but one neck, so I could cut them all at once." But who knows? Maybe he went nuts in the face of death, seeing that his reign would only continue for a few more minutes, and not for eternity. Or should I say, even more nuts. So after his death, statues of Caligula were torn down, his decrees nullified, and scriptures about his reign destroyed. A clean cut for the Romans, and order returned, at least for some time. Even though Circus of Fools focuses only on Caligula's time in office, which is the most interesting one to be fair, I think they have captured this crazy, violent and disregarding personality in their lyrics and the melody of the song as well. If you ever get the chance to see them live, be sure not to miss it, as they communicate emotions on stage extremely well, and I think this song should be quite the treat for any metalhead, with the added benefit of cool and rather accurate history stuff attached to it. So, thanks for listening. I hope you liked the video and learned something new today. What do you think? Should I keep trying to introduce smaller bands or just stick to the big acts? let me know with a comment. And if you have specific songs or bands you want me to cover, just do the same. See you next time, and until then, stay true.